The Bride of the Cursed Lake. Chapter 4. Echoes of the Past. Part 1. Dawn broke gray and indifferent, clinging to my skin like cobwebs as I stumbled through the library doors. The old keeper peered at me, his eyes more spectre than man, as though he half expected my arrival, as though he'd been expecting it for years. He gave no protest when I moved toward the shelves, toward the past, toward Anna. My footfalls stirred dust into ghosts, into things with wings, until the library settled back into silence, and I was alone with its secrets. The archives stretched before me, sprawling, neglected, familiar. A locked cabinet caught my attention like a half-remembered dream. When the old man unlocked it, I felt a familiar crack run through my mind, felt the floor of my thoughts open like water beneath me. I retrieved a bundle of brittle, yellowed pages from the darkness and spread them across a long wooden table beneath flickering lights. Old headlines, brittle and curling, shouted at me, another lost to the lake. Mornings of mist and mourning. Gone without a trace. Is the curse real? The text blurred and whispered, whispered and blurred. I dragged my pen across the page, my hand trembling, recording each word, each name, each heart-rattling echo. I could hear my own voice breaking the silence, fragments of thought, not quite sane. James, I whispered, as though Anna were the one taking notes, as though she were beside me. James. The library seemed to echo back, half an answer, half a mockery. My handwriting slanted and pitched like a ship lost to the sea. The Bride of the Cursed Lake. I scrawled across the top, a desperate moniker for what these women had become. The dates and locations formed a macabre constellation, a cruel and impossible map. My mind was sinking. My voice was not my own. Behind me, the librarian watched with eyes too old, too knowing. I felt his gaze and the weight of his superstition. When I turned, he was murmuring to himself, making the sign of protection as though warding off something contagious, as though I were a man to be pitied or feared. The ink blurred. The pen felt alive, jittering under my grip. I connected the disappearances, looping the twine of time around each story, around my heart. And then, as though the breath were knocked out of me, I saw it. The dates of their vanishings matched the phases of the moon. It was more than myth. It was cycle. It was certainty. The lights above me hummed. "Look," I said, my voice climbing, breaking, dissolving. The librarian flinched when I spoke, but I could not stop. I rose and held the notes out to him, as if Anna herself had written them. The lunar phases. There's a pattern, I insisted. His eyes widened in horror or understanding or both. shook his head and took a step back. The door of the cabinet slammed shut, reverberating through my bones. "Some questions," he said, his voice like dry parchment, "are better left unasked in this village." He shuffled past me, old as stone, already gone, already forgetting that I was ever there. I was left alone in the library's hollow breath, in its swelling madness. It felt like my own. Anna's name hung on my lips, a memory or a prayer, as I clutched the scrawled pages and staggered into the awakening mist.